Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more turkey patterning, and today we've got a really interesting combination out here with a shell that we have not tested yet on the channel. We've tested several shells from this company with some really good looking results so far, so I expect these to look pretty good through today's setup as well. But as for that shell we've got out here today, I brought out some of these, the Kinetic Gunwerks 410 shells. They are a 410 3-inch 7/8 ounce payload of TSS 9s, moving at about 1100 feet per second. Like I just mentioned, we have tested several of the kinetic shells now with some really nice patterns, and I know of several different people out there that have gotten really good performance out of their 410 stuff as well, so I expect it to give us some pretty nice patterns. But as for the setup we're going to run them through today, I brought out my Mossberg 500 410. It has a 24-inch barrel on it, and for a choke, we've got the Indian Creek 385 in here. This has been a pretty good performing choke for us across the board, so I don't see any reason why it shouldn't give us a very solid pattern with those Kinetic 410 shells. So this should be a pretty good performing combination, so we'll see how it does. But as for today's test, everything is set up the same as usual. I've got the turkey target at 40 yards and the chrono so we can get our velocity from the shells. So let's get you guys to view that target and see how the Kinetic 410 shells can do through the Mossberg 500 and the Indian Creek 385. I have some pretty good expectations for it, but let's go take our shot and see what kind of a pattern it can give us. Alright, that shell gave us 1149 through the chrono. The boss claim is 1100. So from that 24-inch barrel on that Mossberg 500, we did see a little bit over their box claim. But we're still well within the realm of reason for a 410 turkey shell like that. Definitely not going too fast or anything. But what kind of a pattern did they give us down there at 40? Let's go check it out and see what we got. Alright, well, now we're down here at our 40-yard paper, and I gotta say, it's really not super impressive. Now, would we have had a dead turkey there? Absolutely. There's nowhere on that turkey paper that he could move to and get away from you. He's gonna get hit with a good number of pellets no matter where he's at. Even here, we have several up through the brain there, and even more down the spine, so yeah, it would have absolutely been good enough to get you that turkey. Now, looking at the overall pattern here, it is most definitely not very even. It's kind of splotchy, a little bit thrown all over the place. Around the edges, we have scattered stuff just all over the place. A ton of flyers. If we look at our core, well, it's still got a bunch of voids in it. It's just not very uniform or even, especially up there close to his head. There's just a ton of big gaps up there that I'm really not a huge fan of. It's not a super tight overall pattern either, which isn't always a terrible thing. Some people do like a little bit more broad and even of a pattern. However, this really isn't even a broad or even pattern. It's just kind of a bunch of shots scattered all over the place. The closest thing we have in this pattern to being an even spread is kind of right down here below that bird's neck, right above his beard area there. That isn't bad, but overall, I'm not really super impressed. Now, is that going to be a trend with the Kinetic 410 shells across the board? I highly doubt it. We know they make some good shells, so I have no doubt we should be able to find a much better performing combo than this. But for that being an Indian Creek choke in that Mossberg 500, which we know is a good combination generally speaking, I kind of expected a little bit more out of it than this. Now, is that a turkey killing pattern at 40 yards? Yes, it is. It's gonna get you that turkey every time you pull the trigger. But if there's something close to him, you may also hit that bird as well, which is not ideal and definitely not what you want. So I don't know. I'll bring you guys in one more time here and kind of show you around. It's just not a super impressive pattern, especially over here around the edges. There's just stuff scattered all over the place, and even in the middle core area of our pattern, there's still a ton of voids in there. So I don't know on this one. It definitely did not quite perform up to what I was hoping it would, but at least now we know, and we can change up chokes and stuff from here and see what these like. They may like a little more constriction, they may like a little less constriction, or maybe just a different choke other than that Indian Creek. So maybe a little bit disappointing for today's results, still plenty good enough to take on a turkey hunt if that's the combo that you had to work with, but definitely not anywhere close to being our best 410 turkey pattern, and I still think we can get a little better out of them than this, or at least I hope we can, with them being a kinetic shell. So not quite the result that I was hoping to see today. And here's the wad from that shell. Very standard 410 turkey equipment here. There's nothing stuck down in there, which has been a little bit of a problem for 410 here recently. But the wad definitely did not open up very evenly, and you can see on a couple of these pedals, we have some pretty good snags up here at the very tips, which is probably why we saw these peel open the way it did. It's not unusual for an Indian Creek choke to kind of tear up a wad. That's kind of the normal for them, to be honest with you. But definitely had some little bit of snagging or something going on here, and that could have very well contributed to the pattern that we saw. So this does give me hope if we run these through another choke, a non-ported choke or something like that, the wad might be able to handle things a little better and give us a little more consistent of a pattern. But definitely some interesting stuff to look at here as far as this wad goes. Alright y'all, well, what did you think about that pattern right there? It's far from the worst 410 pattern that we've ever gotten, but it's definitely not the best either by a long shot. It's pretty sporadic, it's got a bunch of voids in it, the entire edge of the pattern is one big flyer, so definitely not ideal for a 410 turkey pattern. Would it do the job at 40 yards and get you a turkey? Sure, absolutely, that would be good enough. But when it comes to a 410, that's just not really the type of pattern that I'm looking for. We know that Mossberg 500 and that Indian Creek choke are some good performers, but with this shell combination, definitely not the perfect combination of stuff for it. So now we just got to try and run those kinetic shells through some other chokes and see what they do, because they might like a non-ported 385, like the Carlson's heavyweight choke, or a different construction. My stock choke's a 380. I've got a 390 full choke, so maybe something a little bit different as far as construction goes might help these out. I don't know, but I was definitely hoping to see a little bit nicer of a pattern today, but that's why you test a bunch of different combos, because you never really know what is going to perform great and what's going to be a little bit disappointing unless you actually try it. So leave all your thoughts down in the comments. Is that about what you expected to see? Were you a little surprised one way or the other? Have you tested any of the Kinetic 410 shells, and if so, what kind of results have you seen from them? Would you hunt with that pattern, or is it just a little bit kind of all over the place for you as well? And what other chokes do you want to see us run those Kinetic 410 shells through? Let me know all that down below. So at the end of the day, it's still a good enough turkey hunting pattern to get the job done for you, but it's definitely not exactly what I was hoping or expecting to see out of this combo. But at least we have a baseline now, and we can work from here and see what else they can actually give us as far as pattern goes. But with that being said, I've got some more testing to get done for you guys. As always, we have the channel Instagram as well as the mailbox where you can send stuff if you'd like. All that information will be in the description if you're interested in it, but I'm going to get back to it, so I'll see y'all in the next one.